Well, here at WJZ, we like to highlight those everyday heroes.
And when local organization works to make sure all students have access to a quality education and the resources and opportunities that will assist them in achieving their goals. Tori Smith introduces us to the founder of SAFE.
If you don't know what exists, how can you ever strive for it?
Man, tell me about the Safe Alternative Foundation.
I started it back in 2012. Came to me in a dream after suffering a spinal cord injury that said, start this foundation to teach kids the importance of having an education, a backup plan for life. And that's what it's all about. But we do that through exposure and hands-on activities that connects the dots between the classroom and the real world. Something my dad used to always tell me growing up was never put all your eggs in one basket. And he used to always tell me focus on my education despite my sports that I was playing. And when I injured myself, laying in the hospital bed, it was like all I have left is my education because of my physical disability. And so, I realized that the key to success is going to be through that education. I just want to make sure that everyone understands that. No matter where you go in life, you're going to always need to be educating yourself on how you can be your best self, but also whatever the field is that you're going into.
Wow, man, what a remarkable man. Nothing's holding him back. It's got to tick him off hearing people talk about how the system's holding them back and how they can't do nothing and the white man got this boot on their neck, and it's really got to tick this guy off, man. He's not letting anything stop him, man. What an inspirational guy.
Laying in the hospital bed, it was like all I have left is my education because of my physical disability. And so, I realized that the key to success is going to be through that education. I just want to make sure that everyone understands that. No matter where you go in life, you're going to always need to be educating yourself on how you can be your best self, but also whatever the field is that you're going into.
What made you choose this neighborhood?
This is where I grew up. And I wanted to make sure that if I was going to start anywhere, I start right here in my backyard and give back to the community that raised me. So many people growing up in this neighborhood only have access and see certain things. That's entertainment and that's athletics. And they never realize that an education can take them wherever they want to go. And so the reason why we really dive into that just exposure piece is because once you know something is there, once my kids know something exists, they get that hands-on experience, they can feel it. Now they can come back and say, you know what, I really like this and I want to strive for this and explore this more.
Where can people learn more about what you guys have going on and how can they get involved?
We have a ton of volunteer opportunities and all that information can be found on the website as well at safealternative.org.
3 shootings in an hour. 2 men dead. 4 others injured in the city.
Now, this all happened last night. Last night in Baltimore. It's just a continuation of what we're seeing, violence all across our city.
WMER2 News' Kendall Green joins us live now in the studio, fueling the frustrations. Kendall, folks just want to see some resolution. They want things to be safe.
Yeah, good evening, Jamie and Kelly, of course, and for good reasons. Folks want safer streets, of course, in Baltimore. And after talking to a man who spent decades in prison, he says after the recent murders, he felt more secure behind bars.
Did you hear that, sister? Sisters? Did you hear that, Miss Tina Preference Knowles, mother of Beyonce? Did you hear that? Are you listening? Do you even care? Or do you want woke points and adulation from the Hollywood crowd for showing how much you down with the cause? Brothers feel safer in prison than they do on the streets. Okay? And we all know who's making people feel that way, feel that it's safer in prison than it is on the streets. It's Sunmen. Sunmen are doing that. It's not gliders. It's not hombritos. It's not crouching tigers. It's Sunmen. They're the ones who have people moving out of these cities, fleeing these cities. It's them. Miss Tina knows.
Folks want safer streets, of course, in Baltimore. And after talking to a man who spent decades in prison, he says after the recent murders, he felt more secure behind bars.
Freedom was nothing like what I thought it would be. Freedom was more harder. It was more callous because I thought I left all the worst people in prison until I got out of prison and realized the worst people were out here.
Listen. The reason, brother, that the worst people are because they stopped locking them up. They started saying stuff, we can't arrest ourselves out of this crime wave. We can't arrest our way out of this murder wave. No cash bail. Shorter sentences. Diversionary programs. So now instead of getting sentenced, they'll put you in a program that's supposed to divert you from prison. And listen, I had one of those programs, the Youth Act. It was for people who were under 18 for your first violent crime. You can get the Youth Act and have it expunged after 3 years. If you stay out of trouble for 3 years, you can have it expunged from your record, where people can look up your record and it won't come up. So I've been in one of those programs. But what did I do? I went on to offend more. Didn't stop me. It just stopped me for those 3 years. And I offended dirt. I just didn't get caught for anything. I didn't get caught for anything in those 3 years. But that's why it probably feels like the worst people out here, because they're not locking people up. Thanks to sisters, man. And the reason you guys say, well, why you always go at the sisters and the pasty liberals when it comes to criminal justice reform? Some men go for criminal justice reform too, and you don't ever attack them for marching and protesting and advocating for criminal justice reform. Well, let me just break it down to you really simply. Of course, some men go be for criminal justice reform. They commit 80% of the murders in this country. Okay? That number, 50%, those are just the ones where people get caught. They don't account for the ones where there was a drive-by and there's nobody in custody. The mother talking about turn yourself in. And the police talking about we need the community help. Those don't count. There's no data for who killed that person. But we all know who did. We all know who did the drive-by on Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue. Wasn't no gliders. Wasn't no hombritos. Wasn't no crouching tigers. It was something, but that don't go into the database of who, but it goes into the database as a body, but it doesn't go into the databases who committed it. And you'll see many of my stories, many of them have that same story. No one in custody, turn yourself in, we need the community help finding who did this, bringing them to justice. So if some men commit 80% of the murders in this country, of course they're going to advocate for criminal justice reform. But my thing is, pasty liberals and sisters commit small amounts of these crimes. They commit infinitesimal. I mean, it's not much left. You know what I'm saying? There's only like 20% left. But I mean, of that 20%, they don't commit a lot of that. And they're advocating for people that are gonna, if they're left on the street, are gonna commit more murders. That's just what they do. That's why I get on sisters and pasty liberals when it comes to criminal justice reform and not sunmen.
Freedom was nothing like what I thought it would be. Freedom was more harder. It's more callous because I thought I left all the worst people in prison until I got out of prison and realized the worst people were out here. I was shocked by that because I thought everybody out here was good. That's why they was out here. You know, it was a rude awakening.
A rude awakening for Earl Nelson and also for a mother who hopes her son won't fall victim to violence across Baltimore.
We as parents should not have to have that fear or concern that I'm going to get that dreadful phone call that says, I'm so sorry. Or I'm going to get police coming up to my door saying, Miss Calloway, I'm sorry, there was nothing we could do.
It's a call Gary Brown remembers getting back in August.
I was home, and I remember my sister calling my mom and my aunt calling my mom, crying hysterically, you know, telling us that she got shot. And my mom calling me, and she's crying.
It's the call at least 6 families received last night that their loved ones were victims of gun violence across Baltimore in less than 1 hour. Police found a 23-year-old man with gunshot wounds on South Fulton around 5:25 Thursday. A 15-year-old shot in the leg around 6:20 near Gelston Road, where they located 2 other victims.
I love this guy personally, myself, you feel me? Like, he was a good, strong dude, worked, did his thing, smart dude, who wasn't, you know, I mean, he didn't have to go like how he went.
He caught himself. He's about to be like, he wasn't in the streets, so he had to catch himself.
I love this guy personally, myself, you feel me? Like, he was a good, strong dude, worked, did his thing, smart dude, who wasn't, you know, I mean, he didn't have to go like how he went. I hear sirens every day. That's nothing. But when you standing over top of your dead friend, that means something.
Something Diana says is worthy of action, attention, change.
I hurt for the mothers. I really do. Because their lives are taken from them. It was a senseless act. And now you have 2 grieving mothers that are going to have to figure out how they're going to bury their children. Children are not allowed to be children now.
Now, solving city gun violence isn't one solution away from being fixed.
Another story that we're following for you tonight, Baltimore City's continued crime epidemic.
Yeah, the past few days of violence has especially been out of control. Wednesday itself, we saw 3 back-to-back shootings, and so far shootings, they're up 25% from this time last year. One of those happening today.
WJZ is live. Annie Rose Ramos is more on the lies we're losing to violence and the emotional toll that's having on the city and the residents who just want to be safe. Annie Rose.
Rick and Vic, all too often, Baltimore's youth fall victim to many of the shootings in this city, and that is no exception with what happened here this week, starting on Monday when a 16-year-old was shot and killed. On Tuesday, a 17-year-old was shot in the chest, and on Wednesday, a 15-year-old was shot in the leg alongside a 19 and 20-year-old who were both shot and killed.
When do people get it? That when you kill someone, these are our tears. You are killing a part of us.
When will you sisters get it? When will y'all get it? The laws that were changed that made the cities, already unsafe cities, unbearable and unlivable, were demanded by you guys. Furthermore, the mayors of each one of these cities was or is a sister. The police chief in many of these cities are sisters. When are you guys going to do something about this? You the one who hold the keys to the car. You got more control over the situation at home with the little gremlins that y'all raise, and legislatively, being the many of the most influential politicians and leaders in these dreadful, just god-awful cities. When you gonna do something, sister, besides make documentaries about How son men being profiled.
When do people get it? That when you kill someone, these are our tears. You are killing a part of us.
This is the toll the city's crime takes.
We have to bury my 17-year-old nephew, who I love dearly.
In December, this family grieved after 17-year-old Jawan Robinson Jr. was shot and killed in southwest Baltimore.
My nephew literally was riding a scooter, going to the store.
It became the deadliest January in nearly 50 years.
Among the victims were more young teenagers caught in the crossfire of gang violence.
Fast forward to February, and the city faced more fatalities. Monday, a 16-year-old shot and killed in Brooklyn.
It don't just affect the people who are actually out here doing the crime. It affects the whole neighborhood as a whole. We feel that pain.
And Wednesday, a 19 and 20-year-old were killed in a triple shooting that also injured a 15-year-old right in front of this woman's house.
Saw the black morgue van. It's a shame now I gotta look and see that outside of my residence. If you know something, open your mouth. Don't be afraid. This has got to stop.
But it doesn't stop. Thursday afternoon, more crime scene units and more caution tape. This time off Lawrence Lane after a man was shot in the leg.
And it seems like nothing is
being done.
I mean, I hear about a plan, but a plan is baseless. Your words are baseless without actions behind it.
Rick, come tomorrow morning, the police commissioner, the mayor, the governor, and the U.S. Marshal's office will hold a press conference here together to share with the city their latest operation said to target some of Baltimore's most violent criminals. Reporting live, I'm Annie Rose Ramos for WJZ.
Operation Washout. This is a joint crackdown on violent criminals and have resulted in more than 100 arrests. Hello, everybody. I'm Rick Ritter.
I'm Nicole Baker. Welcome to WJZ News at 5 and all of you streaming us on this Friday.
Now, this operation comes as Baltimore, we know, continues to deal with murders and shootings that have simply been out of control.
And when you say shootings, we're talking numbers here. They're up 25% compared to last year.
And it's led to fed-up city residents for years demanding action now. And police say this right here is proof that they are following through with that.
WJZ live for you at the federal courthouse right downtown.
Avanjoy Burnett has much more on the operation that officials say took them months to plan. Avanjoy.
Hi, good afternoon to you both. Well, officials are saying this took months to plan and a lot of resources, but they're also calling it a major success because they say 104 suspects were arrested, people wanted for some major crimes. But all of this is happening as Baltimoreans are feeling the surge of the latest crime in the city.
The U.S. Marshals, the governor, mayor, and police commissioner announced on Friday that more than 100 suspected criminals who were hiding from police have been caught and are now locked up.
I thought we couldn't arrest our way out of this. We can't arrest our way out of this situation. What happened to that, man? 104 people arrested in one day. They just went around and just arrested 104 people. Operation Washout. Ain't that funny? And this is what the people in Baltimore have been demanding. They've been demanding this. They even demanded more, as you saw in the clips earlier in this video. As of yesterday, they demanded more of this. Wow.
The U.S. Marshals, the governor, mayor, and police commissioner announced on Friday that more than 100 suspected criminals who were hiding from police have been caught and are now locked up.
A total of 104 fugitives were arrested, 200 city warrants cleared.
Police say the suspects arrested have been perpetuating a cycle of violence in Baltimore. 5 fugitives were wanted for murder, 9 allegedly tried to kill someone, and more than 24 were wanted on gun offenses. WJZ found the court records of just one of the suspects. As you scroll through, charges against him included murder, attempted murder, and assault.
What was this guy doing on the streets, man? Oh, yeah. They arrested him, released him, and told him to come back for a court date. He said, you know what? You know what, man? I'm probably not going to come back for your court date, but thanks for releasing me.
The goal is to have this initiative create a general deterrence that would-be other violators would see what just happened and know that this will happen to them also.
But in the days since the operation ended, the violence has continued. At least 8 people have been murdered since last week Friday, and another 19 have been shot. The bloodshed has left Baltimoreans feeling hopeless.
I don't feel safe living around here.
You know she's super woke. The piercings, the dyed hair, living in the hood in Baltimore. She's probably one of the wokest people around there publicly because she gotta do extra, you know what I'm saying, to prove she down. He hate the cops. Man, I hate the cops. Wrap him in a blanket and fry him like bacon. But now she like, man. She like, where that privilege that everybody be talking about, man? I need my privilege to kick in. One thing you don't know about Baltimore, man, they got homegrown gliders, man. Gliders that can't get out. Ain't nowhere to go, man. Their whole family in Baltimore, man. They was born in Baltimore. Ain't no privilege come to save her, man.
I don't feel safe living around here.
And terrified.
No, I'm just scared to walk out my door sometimes.
All of the suspects still have the right to be released before trial if they're eligible for bail.
All of the suspects have the right to be released before trial. So basically, most of these dudes will be out the next day. It wasn't like that in 2019, man. It wasn't like that, man. Wow.
All of the suspects still have the right to be released before trial if they're eligible for bail.
Now that we've apprehended these violent offenders, we need to make sure that they're prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
The agencies involved insist large-scale operations like this will help reduce crime in Baltimore City.
Operations like this and the arrest maze have a direct effect on public safety in Baltimore City.
WJZ got our hands on a list of all 104 of these suspects who were arrested, and one person alone was wanted on 11 separate warrants, which included assault and arson. Live tonight at the federal courthouse, Avajoy Burnett for WJZ.